Blessings, familia. This is Angelica Tonatzin, and what I wanted to talk to you about today is the power of sharing your vulnerabilities. Okay, so it's not easy. It's not easy to share any hurts or pains or our vulnerabilities. It's not easy mainly because it's hard for ourselves to look at where we are vulnerable, where we are so sensitive, and what hurts, and then to have to share that in open spaces is not easy. So, but what came to me is when I share straight from my heart. That is sharing a vulnerability. So coming from the heart, sharing, whether it's a trauma or a breakthrough, or just being present with what energies I'm working with in this moment and not trying to hide it, that actually liberates me in feeling comfortable. Well, let me retrace. That liberates me in trying to, again, let me retrace this because I'm still trying to find the words. Why does it liberate me? It liberates me when I am true with where I'm at and I'm fully present with the energies that I'm working with, whether, they're intense or peaceful or the shadow, the light, whatever. When I'm just present with the energies that I'm working with, it liberates me because I feel like it's way more energy to try to front. Okay? And I can literally feel it in my body, the tension in my body. Okay, I had to take this outside. Right when I was recording, my beloved came in and had to put away the groceries and take a pause. But I was sharing the power of sharing our vulnerabilities and just being honest with where we're at and how we're feeling in the moment and why that liberates us. So I was sharing why it liberates me, why I feel it liberates me. It liberates me because, like I said, literally, I could feel the tension in my body when I'm not being true, when I'm not being honest with how I'm feeling in that moment, and it's tense. I feel tension, whether it's my heart's beating fast or literally my chest feels tight, and it's I want to feel the expansiveness in my body and the pure presence of my truth and my authenticity. So it takes a lot of energy to try to hide that. And yes, I'm not saying that it's, to just share all our problems and throw our problems out on everybody, but to just really be honest with how we're feeling. And from the heart, really coming from the heart. So understanding that as we share our vulnerabilities, as we share our process, it's not to burden those around us, but really just to help ourselves feel comfortable in our own skin. And in that process, as we are becoming more comfortable in our skin by being honest with ourselves, it just makes life much more smooth. Okay? It makes life more smooth because we are learning to love ourselves, to really, really to honor our process, and to know that when we do share our truth, our vulnerabilities, that it is held. It is held. There will be the right people who can hold that space for you, who can hear you, who can honor your process, and give you that love and light back for you to move through it. And that's so empowering and so comforting to feel that. And I've been in many situations where, well, first of all, I can't hide my emotions. I'm very emotional. Okay, I'm a moon child, so I'm ruled, by the various energies of the moon, and just also an empath, and I feel a lot of energies around me. So, my part of my work is to, one, not to take on all these other energies, and not to always get, feel like a victim of the various energies around me and within me. But, I don't have it mastered. I don't have it mastered to the point where, I can, instantly find peace in the chaos. I still have to move through it. And it's a beautiful process, though. It's just, it keeps me super present with everything. And again, it really helps me to be more compassionate with myself when I'm honest with myself, when I'm honest with how I feel. And then being able to share that, and know that it's being held in a loving, honorable space is even that much more powerful. So I just want to give you an example. I was asked to do to be part of an amazing women's wellness workshop series by my dear sister Susanna from healthyhotgoddess.com. And I was asked to do a workshop about soul wellness. So in the midst of doing, so I was in Los Angeles at that time, so I knew I could be able to share a workshop on soul wellness. But while I was preparing for that, I was also going to be the doula for my sister Elisa. And so right when I was preparing for this workshop, I also was in strong birth energy. I was holding strong birth energy for my sister, for my first nephew. And it was a really powerful birth. It was really intense, energetically and physically. Shortly after she gave birth to the baby, we actually had to take the baby she gave birth at home. She had a beautiful home birth. But like within a few hours or so, we had to take him to the emergency room. So then the whole energy shifted, in terms of like having this very safe, sacred space with my sister and her midwives and her beloved, and then we had to go to the emergency room. And so anyways, there was all kinds of energies that we had to show up for. And again, beauty in the chaos I was constantly confronted with. And also very present for my sister's postpartum. So, after she gave birth, I stayed with her for about 2 weeks and took care of her. And it was just a really powerful experience and super transformative, but a lot of energy I was moving through, and it was a lot. So on top of that, I then had to, create a workshop about soul wellness, and my mind's going everywhere of like, well, how do I explain the soul, and what is soul wellness to me, and then at the same time taking care of my sister. And so anyways, I showed up to the workshop super raw and super vulnerable, and not even fully not grounded, but I knew I had to, all the wind's blowing in my hair in my face, and not grounded, but and also I had like stomach virus. I was feeling sick, my body was achy. I had to show up, and I was committed to holding space, and I really actually was committed to knowing that my ego wasn't going to be in the way. I was going to just be an open channel for spirit to say what I needed to say, to hold space the best way that I could. And I showed up there, and I know it wasn't, it was not, my ideal circumstances, and but I was just real, I was just raw, and and I shared a lot of my vulnerabilities. I know it was felt, but I was so held. I was so held and so loved, and and people connected to what I had to share. And even in the midst of my mind feeling everywhere and me not feeling fully grounded, I still showed up, and I still just came straight from the heart, and super super raw and super vulnerable. But but that actually created more. It actually felt like a safe space for other people to feel in their vulnerability and share from their heart. So that was another good example for me of, you know, just continuously being present with where I'm at and with how I'm feeling. And, especially as guides, if you're in the healing field, we hold a lot of space, as teachers. We hold a lot of space for community. And, one may feel like, oh, that we have to have it all figured out. We have to be perfect and completely positive and peaceful all the time. And that is okay. And that is not true, and that is not real. So I have to remind myself that too. And like, hey, I'm human. Like, I don't have it figured out. But my process is to just be as authentic as possible, and and allow others to be authentic and real with their process, and continue to honor that and to have compassion for myself and for others. So there's a lot of power when we can share our vulnerabilities, when we can share our heart, and yes, it takes courage, but courage is what's needed right now. Courage is what's needed to step out of our comfort zone and trust that as we step out, that there's so many gifts and blessings that are ready to shine, that are ready to be given to us. And so I'm reminded of that when I start to feel fear. I'm reminded that there are some beautiful things that are waiting for me, and layers to be released when I can just let go of some old illusions, old beliefs that prevent me from sharing from my heart, that prevent me from sharing my vulnerabilities. So I just want to also thank my community. When I read some of your posts on Facebook, when I see you share photos, YouTube videos, when I see people just coming from the heart, sharing their process, and it really is inspiring and empowering. So I want to just keep encouraging you to share from your heart your vulnerabilities. Just be honest with where you're at. Honor where you're at. Honor what you're feeling. And just trust. Just trust that it all moves. It all moves. And that you are held, you are loved, and you're so guided. So, yes. Sending you my love, my blessings, and I thank you. I thank you for your heart and your power. Okay? So with that,